Good afternoon. We're starting the afternoon with zooming in on the role of advisors. And this is a quite essential part of our work within the AKIS because we're completely overhauling the past and looking to a different way of working with advisors in our CAP policy. Here are the articles, the main articles. Article 13 explains, and Article 72 gives you all the leeway for a variety of support that you can organize around farm advice. First of all, it has to be included in the CAP plans. Second, the advisors must be integrated within the AKIS in order to cover economic, environmental and social dimensions, so very broad range if you compare it with the past, and also to deliver up-to-date technological and scientific information developed by research and innovation. So you see the link with research and with multi-actor or operational group projects is quite important. Last but not least, advisors must be impartial and be able to provide support for innovation, in particular to help for preparing and implementing operational group projects of the EIP-AGRI. So how are we going to do this? And the numbering here that you see refers to what you find with much more detail in the AKIS report. First of all, advisors should not work as linear knowledge transfer people anymore. They have to be much more listening. There's no one farm. Every farm is different. And so work much more interactive, maybe with discussion groups, or in any case, be more listening oriented. Our field advisors, those are on the road, are expected to deliver holistic advice, which is really targeted to the farm and the farmer's content. We don't have public procurement anymore. That will not be one of your worries. But innovation support must be available, and we also expect that they help in participating in and also sharing the knowledge from operational groups. Training is important, and you can think about maybe a specific amount of obligatory training per year, especially on these innovative techniques and outcomes of operational groups, multi-actor projects, but also maybe for soft skills. This interactiveness can be learned, and this is really very important these days because farmers are well educated and they don't take advanced advice just for granted. They want to discuss it. Tools for innovation support can be developed that many advisors can use. For instance, you could even set up a complete farm advisory service with Article 72, like what you see here, a mobile advisory unit where you can measure the blood, whether a cow is pregnant, and all these kind of things. It's important to link these different forms of and methods of advisory work. Individual advice, but also maybe bringing a few people together for discussion groups, provide training for these advisors, workshops where they can exchange amongst themselves, get them to organize or at least participate in demonstration, and make events to update their knowledge. After the privatization wave that we have since the 90s, give these advisory services again a public role by strengthening support from the AKIS for advisors, for instance, through this back office. Cross visits, so going abroad and learning peer-to-peer from other advisors is a great way to get knowledge in your country which is not available there. Make freedom for new advisory teams. Don't limit yourself to the obligatory teams. There's the chain approach, which is important. Short supply chains are really key now. Maybe bio-based chains, the dialogue with society, social care farming, etc. Spend also time with entrepreneurs and researchers. So link innovative investments or research facilities with advice. You can make advisory networks which are region-wide, maybe country-wide. We even have under Horizon EU-wide advisory networks, which we also are going to continue in the next period to share that knowledge generated. In a thematic network, Horizon thematic network, you can also have a lot of advisors who can exchange. Internships and placements in research stations or training facilities are a possibility. Dedicated actions you will need to do to involve also the private advisors who were until now hardly involved, not only through training, but also with other information flows, with maybe some common advisory tools, this back office support that can serve all advisors. Digitization is, of course, a good element to help all this. And what also attracts is to simplify the administration. And we think that the main instruments for future AKIS are this innovation hub, an innovation support service, and also the knowledge hub, which we call the back office for advisors, where this practical knowledge is collected and at the service of the field advisors. You can see links where much more information is available. So this gives in a picture a little bit what the farm advisors can do in our EIP operational groups. They can first of all capture practice needs. Then they can help to prepare the projects. In the projects, when they are selected, they can facilitate these projects because they are a good intermediate person. And they can, of course, disseminate this to all their clients and even to a broader audience by using them in events. They are very communicative normally, so they are good persons to use. And they are also a very good bridge between the CAP and Horizon. So a big potential there that you can use. Now, how can this innovation brokering work? How to capture grassroots ideas? It's really helping a single actor with a good idea in finding the right and adequate partners. And that's why it's important to understand agriculture and not to forget also to look to other sectors, other regions, other institutes to have a cross-cutting approach. So you have to mix both, understand agriculture, but also look to other and look across the wall, let's say. And don't forget that vouchers can be interesting to make the cost organization much simpler for everybody, as well for the administration as for the advisors. I give one example on Innovation Broker, how it can work. From a farmer's idea, which saw that there was a difference between two stables. One stable he hired, and he had less ammonia emissions there, and he didn't know why. So he went to an innovation support service, and they brought together researchers, environmental stations, agricultural stable researchers, and also a company selling bacteria products, because the assumption was that maybe it's that bacteria product that can help to reduce ammonia emissions. And it worked. They had an objective to reduce 50%, and they could indeed reduce 30%, which makes a lot of difference for the costs, because otherwise you have to pay electricity and buy costly ventilators and scrubbers. So this is an overview, and I won't go into detail of all the things that an innovation support service can do. There are other presentations that give you more information on that. This is a list of the skills. As I said, listening is important for brokers, for any advisor. They have to be good analyzers also to tackle the problem, have this good network, good intermediating skills, be quality oriented, that the plan for the project that they make, that it's good and coherent, that it will be selected, and of course think out of the box. We have a dedicated result indicator on that, and here you find, and you can read that later on, a few examples of interventions that can contribute to the integration of advisors within the AKIS. And now come our three speakers, which will present, first of all, a fully fledged nationwide, countrywide, I would say, advisory service. A second one, which is an NGO who started delivering advice for a specific purpose, Razvan will call you. And third, then more information about this innovation support. This doesn't mean that you have to follow each of these three examples. Other options are possible. You have to look to your member state's context and your existing organizations, and multiple solutions may coexist. However, keep your mind open, try to enable as much advisory functions as possible and coordinate them, avoid overlap. Don't forget to be open for new advisors and new teams. So this is a bit my final message to give before I give the word to our speakers.